Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video, and in today's video we are in episode 5, I believe, of the How to Katsu series, where we're going to be discussing blue and mana resource in the Katsu deck. So I've done this video once or twice, so I'm going to try to do as well as I can for you to kind of split blues up into 3 different sections. One is combo-based blues, one is aggro-based blues, and one is utility-based blues. Before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for joining or stopping by, at least clicking on the video. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all. Everyone, feel free to check out the Discord and the Patreon down below, especially the Discord. We have over 400 members now, and it's super active and positive community, talking every single day. Whether you're a Ninja player or not, it doesn't matter. Definitely stop by and enjoy. So I wanted to, like I said, I've done this video once or twice, but I've always tried to add on to it every time I've done it and give a little bit more of a little bit clearer of direction for people, because not everybody's playing like these hyper competitive decks, right? Like not everybody's trying to go to a calling or going to a battle harden or whatever. Some people are just playing at their local. Some people are playing the Tiger Katsu deck, playing Control Katsu, playing fun like different builds. So I want to give you ways to look at blues, whether you're a hyper competitive player, whether you're a new player, or whether you're just a normal player that's trying to have a cool, fun pet deck, right? You can look at these blues in a different way and be able to, build your game plan effectively. So we have 3 sections here. We have combo-based blues, we have aggro-based blues, and we have utility-based blues. First one we're going to talk about, which is the most competitive section, is combo 3-block blues. Now, these are your most consistent blues you'll run in Katsu. Katsu but most of the time has to have 0-cost blues in order to pitch for Kodachis, because Kodachis are swords, for anyone that's not aware, cannot gain go again unless you have a 0-cost in your pitch zone, which normally is a blue. So because of that, most of Katsu's combo cards are 0, if not all of them, with the exception of like Blackout Kick and Open the Center and stuff like that. But typically, you're going to have 0-cost combo blues. The reason these are the most consistent is they're used for block 3. They can use pitch for Kodachis and other attacks, and they combo with the combo lines that you have in your Katsu deck. So typically, in most competitive Katsu lists, you're going to see Dishonor in there for the Surging Strike into Descendant into Bonds line. You're going to see Lord of Wind in there for the classic Surging Strike line. You're probably going to see Winds of Eternity in there to pair with 100 Winds, which is typically in lists. And then finally, typically, you're going to see Whelming Gust Wave in there. Those are like the 4 sets of blues that are most common in Katsu decks, because they go with the Surging Strike and the 100 Winds line, which arguably are the 2 most used lines in Katsu. Surging Strike line is the most powerful. 100 Winds is one of the most consistent, so you'll see those a lot. But you have other obscure ones, like Crane Dance for the Soul Beat Strike line. Find Sinner also goes to the Soul Beat Strike line. And then you have Pouncing Key, which goes in the Tiger Katsu line decks. And then even some obscure ones like Recoil, Rushing River goes to the Torrent line, things of that nature. So if you're an existing player, this is a little side note. If someone's trying to build a deck and they ask about a line or blues that they're trying to test out, unless it's just completely off base and you know they're not going to not enjoy themselves, but they're not going to get the experience of what it means to play Katsu because of it, let them play what they want. I'm saying this because I've seen people in the Discord where someone's like, I really want to run, I want to run the Torrent Tempo line with Break Tide. I think that line's really cool. And then someone in Discord will respond, that line's trash, don't run it. I'm talking about the main Flesh and Blood Discord. And I'm like, well, not everybody's trying to be competitive, my friend. Like, let them run what they want to run. So just keep that in mind. When someone asks for advice, let them know, like, hey, here's the competitive build version, and then here's the version you're talking about. Here's how to make it the best it can be while still staying true to what you're wanting to do. So keep that in mind. But typically, this is your most consistent version of Katsu Blues. And like we said in episode 2 on Katsu Principles, you're going to be running around 12 to 18 blues typically in Katsu. Your second section is aggro-based blues. So these, I first got turned on to these by Tyler Broughton way back in the day. This was like 2 years ago when he won his first RTN and put out a video on it. He used a lot of aggro-based blues in his deck in order to get his win and help him facilitate his win. He was running a hyper low-to-the-ground, low-cost Katsu list. And so his thought process was, I don't really care to combo into things with my blues. I don't really care to, doing that, I just want to push damage and push, my game plan. So granted, that time frame was a different time in Flesh and Blood, so it was a little bit easier to do that than it is now. However, it's an option. You can run things like Captain's Call, which is also in our utility blues section. It can give a 0-cost attack +2 or go again, which helps facilitate some aggro turns. Head Jab, although not used very much anymore, was a pretty common aggro-based blue. 100 Winds, which is a new one. In my Tiger Katsu list, I run 900 Winds at blue, yellow, and red because it just combos really well with Art of War. And then you even have cards like Snatch, which aren't bad. Like being able to play this at the end of a chain for 2, and if it hits, you get an Arsenal. Not too bad. And then Soul Beat Strike, which is actually a 3-block blue. And if it hits again, go again. So really good for that. So these are aggro-based blues where basically if you're saying, I really don't care to combo in, I just want to push damage and keep pushing the envelope, even if I draw a suboptimal hand, really, really useful for that. Now, the game has changed a little bit and synergies have changed, so this isn't as popular of a section. However, it's definitely a option if depending on how things go. And Katsu might change over time if he doesn't Living Legend. Might get new archetypes where these style blues are more important and better, right? So keep that in mind. And then the third base version is your utility blues. Now, these are tech pieces that can be used defensively, offensively, somewhere in between, whatever it may be, right? So you have, again, Captain's Call is technically utility blue as well. You have your attack reactions like Concealed Blade, which is a 3-block +1 attack reaction, and Lunging Press, which is basically the old school version of Concealed Blade, is a 2-block +1 attack reaction. You have cards like Knives Out. Although this is not used as common in Katsu, it's more used for Benji and Ira, so keep that in mind. But it can be used in a pinch if you don't have anything else and you're a newer player. Maybe it's all you have access to. Another one that used to be used a lot, granted, it is banned in Classic Constructed for you newer players. Just keep that in mind. It's only legal in Blitz right now. But Plunder Run was a big one. So if you're a Blitz player, this is a good option as well. Being able to say the next time an attack action card you control hits this turn, draw a card. And if this is played from Arsenal, it gives your next attack +1. Super, super nice. Love playing this into like 100 wins for 4 and saying, if you don't block this, I'm going to draw. Super good. And then you have some tech-based blues like Silverwind Shuriken. This is an item that you put out, and then at any point in the game, you can break it to give a combo card +1. And it allows you to basically have 2 breaking scales on the field with this and breaking scales. So it's super good to push damage, push those on hits, and get Katsu triggers. And then finally visit the Floating Dojo, which is a Katsu specialization that came out in Outsiders that says put a Surging Strike and a card with combo from your graveyard on top or bottom of your deck or bottom of your deck. This is used for anti-fatigue strategies, but also it can be used in really niche situations when you're trying to basically pick your mass draw. If you have this in Arsenal, and let's say you've played out a certain combo line, I'm not going to think of an example here, but and you've already used your Katsu trigger. And so you have no way of getting that last piece of the combo. Let's say you've played, 100 wins and 100, and then it hit, you went and got another 100 wins, and then for some reason you play leg tap, pitching a blue, threatening mask, and they don't want to block it for whatever reason. You play this, you put Surging Strike, and then you go get Rise and Knee Thrust. It has combo in it. Put it on top of your deck, draw in the Rise and Knee Thrust, and play it out. Again, super niche, weird situation. Not saying that specific spot is the best spot for it, but it gives you an idea. It can be used both offensively and to help you just keep your deck healthy, so you can continue in those fatigue-based matchups. It was really good in the Oldhim matchup. Now it probably could be good used in Uziri and things like that. It doesn't block, so it's definitely something to keep in mind, as well as Silverwind Shuriken. But these are utility-based blues. Typically, in most competitive lists, you're seeing wrong one. You're seeing people use the combo-based blues, and then they'll add in 1 or 2 utility-based blues. So, like for example, in my list, I'm running 3 Dishonors, 3 Lord of Winds, that makes 6, 3 Whelming Gust Waves, that makes 9, 3 Winds of Eternity makes 12, and then I'm running 2 Concealed Blades to give it 14, and that's my blue base. Definitely try out new things though. Do what's best for you, but depending on what the idea of your deck is, that's what section of blues you draw from, right? If you're just running super low to the ground attacks, Ravenous Rabble, Scar for a Scar, you don't care about the combo lines as much. You definitely still have them in your deck, but you're just really a low to the ground list. These aggro-based blues might be best for you. If you're running a really like techie mid-range list, these Utility-based blues might be a little bit better with more combat tricks. And then if you're just running like, your standard competitive Katsu deck, your combo-based blues are usually your bread and butter for the most part. Hopefully this made sense. It gives you an idea of like what sections of blues to think about when you're building your deck. Think about what's most synergistic with you, but also if you're just a newer player and you're wanting to try some fun decks, just try to make your deck as synergistic as possible. If you have the leg tap line, the surging strike line, and the 100 winds line in your deck, I suggest running Winds of Eternity, Whelming Gust Wave, and Rising Knee Thrust, and Lord of Wind, right? Those, like, because all of those are synergized with those three combo lines you have. So you have a higher chance of being able to combo off, right? So definitely think about it. I tried to make this as simple as possible. I did this video a couple of times because I thought it was a little bit too long because I don't think blues need to go that in depth. And also, I'm just trying to give people a snapshot. If you want a more in-depth explanation on certain interactions, let me know. I'm going to try to do some gameplays and some other things to give people more like context to some of these things that I'm talking about. But I'm trying to give people like, the down and dirty really fast, and then we'll go into more in-depth stuff later. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, let me know how it can be better. That's totally fine. Hopefully y'all have a good rest of your week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.